Hey, what's up everyone? It's George here, the remote seller. I'm just going to go through some products and show you a simplified version of how I analyze ASINs and the details I record before making purchasing decisions. Basically, I'm going to go through some ASINs my VAs have found for me. A few things that will really help you when doing product research. One is an extra screen. So I actually have 3 screens plus the laptop, 3 massive screens actually, massive 31.5-inch curved screens. I love them. But you don't need to go that far. All you need is at least 1 extra screen. So on one screen, you're going to be basically looking at the Amazon listing, the ASIN basically, and analyzing it. And on the second screen, you'll be recording the data that's important into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, I'm going to have to do everything on one screen. So just bear with me, because I'm doing a screen share, recording a video, so I can't show you on 2 screens, only on one. So you're gonna have to bear with me on that one. In terms of tools, Keepa is an absolute must. You're gonna have to use Keepa, just for all the things that are important. Secondly, you're gonna need a calculating tool. So you can either use Revseller, ASIN, or SellerAmp. They're all great tools. I'm also going to use Jungle Scout, the estimator tool, the Chrome extension, to calculate the sales estimate to see how many units sell. If you use SellerAmp, I think it automatically calculates the sales estimate, so you won't need a tool like Jungle Scout. The 3 tools I'm going to be using is Keepa, Revseller, and Jungle Scout to show you this video, but you feel free to use any variation of those tools. But Keepa is a must. All right, so I'm just gonna minimize myself here. I'm a bit too large. Let me make myself a bit smaller. So once we record some of the data, these are the things that we're gonna be looking at after that. So I'm just gonna quickly go through them now so you can have a look at them, but we're gonna go a bit deeper on this when we've come up with some good products, okay? So one is the product correct? The next one is does it currently have profit? Is Amazon does Amazon sell the product? Do they dominate the buy box? Do they share the buy box? Have they been on the buy box in the past? Very important. Next is the current BSR. What's the BSR at this point? Break even. What is our break even? We have to always calculate our break even. Very, very important. Historic price. So after we calculate the break even, how many times has the historic price, the buy box, dipped below our break even? Very important, because we don't want to end up with a product that's a loser. So then we have the historic BSR. Are there massive gaps in the BSR? Do they go up and down in weird ways? We have to look at the Keepa chart and analyze that. Competitive sellers, how many competitive sellers are there right now? So how many people are within buy box range now, within 2 or 3% of the buy box at the moment? It's very important when calculating how many units we're going to buy. But we also got to look at total sellers, which is the next one, because if there are many total sellers, so if there are 40 sellers on a listing, for example, but only 2 are in the buy box, expect those 40 sellers to soon go into the buy box, because they're obviously going to have to drop the price so they can become competitors and actually sell their products as well. Next, variations. Is the product part of a variation set? Important, because the BSR is a bit weird when it comes to variations. Manufacturer. Is the manufacturer the only seller on this ASIN? If they are, there's a very good chance they're going to want to kick you off. You might get an IP complaint, which is the one after this one. We also got to look at hazmat. If the product's a hazmat, it's going to cost extra inbound costs. You have storage limits on hazmat, if you're hazmat approved, that is. You have storage limits on hazmat products. So it needs to have a higher ROI and actual profit dollar amount, so it can be worth it. IP complaints, like I said earlier. And then lastly, is it worth the profit? Is the monthly profit, is it good enough, to warrant you actually buying this product? So these are the things we're going to look at. So I'm going to show you the Excel where I actually record all the data. So I have it divided in certain sections. So basically what we have here in the blue section is all the supplier data. So if you can add their item number, their UPC, their description, and then their price in this section here. Then after that, the price also includes prep and everything that associated with going there. Obviously, this is a simplified version of what I do. My version, what I personally use is a lot more complicated. I've all divided, but just so it can be a bit simpler, I've just put the total price at in column D over here. Column E is the actual ASIN. So everything associated with the ASIN is in the orange section. So we're going to add the quantity, how many units are in the, if it's a 1-pack or a 2-pack or a 12-pack, whatever it is. We're going to add the sales rank just so we can have an understanding of the BSR and how good of a seller it is. We're going to add the buy box price, the current buy box as it is right now. We're going to then have to calculate the break even. What is our break even? After that, we're going to obviously calculate the profit, the margin, the ROI. We're going to get the sales estimate. We're going to use Jungle Scout to get the sales estimate. Obviously, if you have Seller Amp, I think it does it by itself. Then we're going to look at the competition. And then based on the competition, and the sales estimate, we're going to calculate how many we're actually going to buy, how many units we're going to buy. After that, we're going to calculate how much it will cost to buy this amount of units. And then how much profit will be associated if we buy these units. Okay, so I'm going to show you the calculations we're going to do for all of these. Let's start analyzing them, and we'll see where we go from there. So this is the first ASIN. I've already opened it up here. So this is it here. So going to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. Our price is $20.69. So I'm going to come over here to Revseller. I'm going to write $20.69. It's an obvious loser. The price is both $22.45 in both the FBM section and the FBA section. And it's also a variation. But before we get to that, I just want to see if $22.45 is the price for the lowest FBM seller or the lowest FBA seller. So just opening up the sellers here, and I can actually see one of the most competitive FBA sellers is $25. So I see a lot of FBA sellers at around $25, some at $27, but $25 I guess is a competitive price, but it doesn't look like there's any profit at $25 as well. So we're gonna actually ignore this one, and we're gonna throw it into our ignore list. So I'm just gonna cut it out from here and paste it over here. Okay, now let's look at the next one, because it's not worth wasting your time on analyzing every single aspect of it if it's right off the bat it's not good. If there's no profit, let's go on to the next one. So this is the next ASIN now. Let's go and check out our price. It is $13.47 to source it. I see Amazon the seller, and the actual price, the selling price, is below our source price. So there's no way this product's going to be good. Just want to quickly check the Keepa chart to see how long Amazon has actually been on it. If they're on and off, or what the deal is. So this product is not a good product. It may have been an okay product to sell in this point here between October and December. You might have gotten a great price. So people were selling it at around $27 during this period, which would mean it was an awesome product. It's $13.50 or whatever it was. $27. It's okay. It's 40% ROI, but right now it looks like Amazon's completely dominating the buy box. They probably have a ton in stock. They have a 45 order limit. Who knows how many units they actually have in stock? It could be 1,000. Could be more, but we can't know that given they've put the limiter on it. So this is going to have to go to our ignore list as well. So we're just ignoring this one here as well. And let's move on to the next one. Copying this ASIN in here. Okay, so our source price is $15.79 for this next one. It's a little horsey. Just wait for Revseller to appear. Here it is. So $15.79. Okay, so this one has some nice profit in it. So just looking at it over here, I'm just going to quickly record the data, and then we're going to go from there. So our profit is $8.71. So I'm just going to quickly write $8.71 to remember it. Okay, so I remember it was a 1-pack. Now the sales rank is currently at 121,978. So I'm going to write 121,978, which is not too good in toys and games. Our buy box price is $35, which is nice and high. So I'm just going to type in $35 here, current buy box. Let's go back to Revseller and calculate the break even. So I'm just going to shave some dollars off shave around $9 off, which is it's not $26. Okay, the break even's not 26. Let's go to 25. It's not 25. It's around $24.75. Okay, so our break even is $24.75 for this product. Very important to look at that later on. Now, I'm going to show you some calculations here, which are going to calculate how many, what the margin in the ROI is. So just going to do that quickly here. So the margin equals the profit divided by the buy box. So the actual sale price. Okay, and you want to convert that to a percentage if you haven't already. The ROI equals, so I'm going to type in equals the profit divided by the buy price, the source price. So $15.79. That's 55% ROI. So those are nice numbers. 25% margin, 55% ROI is quite good. Now we're going to need to calculate the sales estimate. So we're going to pull up Jungle Scout over here, and it's going to give us a sales estimate. So we're getting 164 sales. That does seem a bit high to me for toys, to be honest. 121,000 in toys, 164 sales a month. It seems a bit high. It doesn't seem right, but maybe the BSR was a lot lower at a a few weeks ago or something like that, and it is close to Christmas, so that's why maybe the sales a bit more. So we're going to come in here and type in 124 units. So Revseller has this little number here, 0. So that's how many people are close within the FBA range, 3%, within 3% of the buy box range. So given that the price is $35, and this is a 0, that means that there's only one competitor. So if this had a number 5 here, for example, it's 5 plus 1, 6. That's 6 competitors. So we're just going to come in here, and it's actually 1 at the moment. So there's 1 competition. Okay, so in this next column, we're going to say how many we're going to buy. So we're going to actually come up with a little equation here, so I can just work on all of them after this. So what we're buying basically is the sales estimate, the amount of sellers divided by the competition plus us. Okay, so if there's one competitor and we become the second competitor on a listing, that means we hypothetically would share 50-50 this sales estimate. But if there were 2 competitors and we jumped on it, we'll become the third competitor on this listing. So we will have to do 124 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 3 equals whatever it equals. Okay, so just to show you a little equation here to calculate that. So we're going to say how many to buy equals the sales estimate. I'm going to have to divide that. We're going to have to open up a little bracket and type and click on this one here, which is 1 at the moment, plus us, which is another 1. Okay, so this right here is the equation I'm going to use for that. I'm going to hit enter. So right now, I'm just going to have that centered. I'm going to center it and make it bold. Okay, so right now it's estimating we buy 62 units. If we're going to buy the whole amount, we could actually sell out within a month. So so if we were to up this to, let's say there were 5 competitors and we become the 6th, the recommendation is to buy 21 units. If it was 10 competitors, the recommendation is to buy 11 units only. If there were no competitors, there's no one, it's just us, you buy all 125 units. So this one had 1 competitor. So we're just going to type in 62. Now the total cost for these, to buy these 62 units, is 62 times the source price, which is $15.79, $978, and the total profit will be equals 62 again times times $8.71. Okay, so if we were to buy the recommended monthly amount of this product, it would cost us just under $1,000 and we'll get a bit over $500 profit, so $540 worth of profit. Okay, so that looks okay right off the bat. We're going to do further analysis. We're going to analyze the checklist after. We're just going to go through the ASINs nice and quickly now and put all this data down. So I'm going to copy the next one and put it in here. Oh, made a little mistake there. Let me just go back. All right. So this is the next one. It's going to cost us $25.99 to source it. Okay, so it seems like this is completely out of stock, which is probably actually good for us. It's hard. We have to have a look at and determine what the actual sales rank is and what's going on with that, because it is out of stock. But let's go down to the Keepa chart and have a look at some things. So it was out of stock before October the 16th, out of stock here, and it's out of stock again. The sales rank when it's in stock is great. It's really good actually, 49,000, 39,000. It's quite good. So let's look at the last buy box price and try to determine something. So the last buy box price is $50.11, and I see that it's been averaging around $41, $42. So given that there's no one in the buy box right now, there's no sellers, it's currently completely unavailable. Let's look at this price here, $50.11. So I'm gonna go $50.11 as the buy box price. Our purchase price is $25.99, so I'm just gonna type in $25.99, which gives us $10.59 worth of profit. So I'm just gonna type in $10.59. The BSR at the moment is 105,061. 105,061. It is a 1-pack. And let's go ahead and calculate our break even. So given our profits $10.59, our break even is probably around $38. $38. Okay, it's 37.67. How's that for an estimate? No, 37.65. So our break even is $37.65. So I'm just going to type in $30.65. Now I'm just going to copy the margin and the ROI from over here, instantly calculate that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the sales estimate. 120 units a month. Okay. 120 units a month. And now I'm going to copy this data here right below there. So based on this, this will cost us $1,559 to source, and the profit will be around at $235. Okay, so I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to stop the video and just put all the data here and separate the good ones from the bad ones, and then we can analyze them a bit further. So just do this one now. This is another one where Amazon's a seller. The product is $10.79. So it doesn't look like it's a good product. $10.79 to source. We're going to have a bit of a $2 or $3 loss. All right, so $2.29 loss. And just going to look at the Keepa chart, and we can see that Amazon has been completely dominating this buy box, and it's not really a good product to buy. So it's moving on to our ignore list. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, let's just record one more, one more of the good ones, and then I'm just going to pause the video, complete the list, and then we can do some further analysis on it. Okay, so we've got like a frying pan or something like that over here, whatever it is. It's going to cost us $41.93 to source it. Doesn't look like there's too much worth of profit. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a loser. $41.93 is a loss of almost $5. The current buy box is an FBA seller. Yeah, it doesn't look like a good product. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to pause the video now. I'm going to complete the list and we'll get back to it in a bit. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? I'm back, finished completing this whole list. These are the results. These are the ones that we're actually looking at. We've got some notes in here for the ones that are actually okay. So the ones that didn't make the list are here on the ignore list. I might as well delete them. So deleting them now. Let me minimize myself so I'm not as big. Just gonna do that. All right, cool. Okay. So now we want to go through these ones here and basically run them through these checklists that we have here. So basically through these 14 things that we mentioned earlier. So let's go ahead and start, removing the ones that don't meet this criteria. So we're going to jump to the first one, and it's this horse thing, this little horsey thing. The product cost us $15.79. So let's go ahead and look at the checklist now. So firstly, is the correct product? Yes, it is. My VA has confirmed that it is the correct product. Now, current profit. Is there profit at the moment? Okay, based on the current price, $35, there's $8.71 worth of profit, plenty of profit. That seems good. Amazon. So next, is Amazon on the listing? Have they been on the listing in the past? What's going on with Amazon? Where is their price if they were on the listing in the past? So they're not on the listing at the moment. So let's go down to the Keepa chart and let's look at the last year or so. Okay, so this is the last year worth of data. So obviously Amazon has been on this listing basically 6 months ago. So from mid-June and before, they've been on this listing. And it seems like they were dominating the buy box. It doesn't look like there were many other sellers selling while they were selling the product. And they were pretty much dominating the buy box. Now, let's look at our break even and see if we could potentially ever compete with Amazon on this listing. So our break even for this product was $24.75. So Amazon was priced at $15. So there's no way we're going to be able to sell and compete against this product without losing a lot of money. We're losing pretty much $10 worth of pretty much have a $10 loss. But Amazon hasn't been on the listing for the last 6 months, which is obviously a very important factor. If I were to purchase this product, I wouldn't go too deep. I wouldn't buy too many. The sales estimate is 124 units. That's according to Jungle Scout. There's no variation in this product. There is one competitor at the moment. So based on those figures, we could buy potentially 60 units and they would sell, but you never know if Amazon might jump back on, because 60 units, instead of having a 60 times $8.71 profit, if Amazon jumps on, it's 60 times $10 loss. It's a $600 loss. So that's something we definitely want to avoid. But Amazon hasn't been on the listing in the last 6 months, so they very well might not jump on the listing at all. So what we want to do now is we want to look at the last 6 months worth of data and see how good of a break-even price that we have is $24.75. So we're going to look at the last 6 months worth of data, and this is what we have now. So basically from June up until now, it's late December. So we want to kind of draw a line at $24.75, which is pretty much between $30 and $20, just that midline here. So as we can see, it has dropped quite a few times below the buy box. That is, has dropped quite a few times below our break even. So I'm just going to hover over every time that the buy box goes below our break even. So right there, it's below our break even, and it looks like it was Amazon just for a very short amount of time right here. What's that? That's Amazon. So they for a very short amount of time, they came back in stock. They sold at that low price and then it shot back up again. So let's go back to the year and let's look at some more points. So what about here? It seems it's Amazon again. Every now and then they're completely out of stock, but every now and then a few units probably come back, maybe from returns or something else, and they're in stock for a small amount of time, and then they sell out again and the price jumps back up. So that's what seems to happen. Every time it dips well below the break even, it's pretty much Amazon coming back in stock with probably like a unit or two only, or maybe, just a very, very few units, and they sell them out and then the price jumps back up. So I personally wouldn't be too worried about that. If Amazon's on the listing for a day or so and they sell a few units and then they sell out and then we're selling again, that doesn't seem too bad. But based on that, I haven't disqualified this yet, but based on that, I'll probably only buy around 30 units. So I'm changing the buy quantity to 30. Let's look at the remaining factors. So after Amazon, we basically looked at the BSR, which is not too good. It's 121,000 in toys and games. It's obviously we're nearing Christmas now, so it's going to be selling quite well now. But after that, it'll probably slow down in sales. So that's definitely something you've got to consider when buying a product. The break even, we calculated that at $24.75. We just compared the historic price with the break even. So it seems to only drop when Amazon jumps on the listing for a few days. Historic BSR, let's have a look at how its BSR has behaved. So let's go to the year. So when Amazon is on the listing and their price very low at $15, the BSR is doing real well. It's 9,000 here, 20,000 around here. So it's obviously selling very well. Obviously, when the price doubles or more than doubles, the BSR is going to shoot up. It's not going to be selling as well. So the BSR isn't too good. So if obviously it was at 20K, at 15 to 20K, you'll probably be selling, hundreds every month, 3, 4, 5, 600 every month. But at 120,000 BSR, it wouldn't sell too many. There aren't too many competitors, so you could kind of consider this one. I would not buy any more than 30. 30 would probably take more than a month to sell out. So I would definitely not buy any more than 30 units if I was going to consider this one. Still looking for reasons not to buy it. I haven't found any direct reason not to buy it yet. Just Amazon is the only issue, but they don't seem to be coming onto the buy box for too long. Now, competitive sellers and total sellers. So in terms of competition, there are 2 FBA sellers at the moment selling the product. I'm just going to click on, doesn't seem like there's much competition. 2 FBA sellers, 1 FBM seller. Just going to bring up the FBA sellers and see this. So there's 1 FBA seller in the buy box, is at $35, got 2 units, pretty much practically nothing. You practically don't even have to consider them a seller if they've only got 2 units, but you never know if they have more on the way or not. Then we have another person at $30.99 with 7 units apparently, but they're not in the buy box because their stock arrives on the 31st of January. So that's a bit strange. Not too sure why their stock is so far away and they still are considered to have 7 units available. But they're not really they're not a competitor on this product at the moment. So if you can get your products in very quickly, you'd probably be beating these people anyway. But 7 and 2 units, 9 units in total will sell out pretty fast. So I don't consider the competition in this case at the moment. Variation. The product's not a variation. There's no clickable products over here which signify a variation. Manufacturer is the manufacturer seller. So the brand, this product is called Sleigh Horse. Visit the Sleigh store. It doesn't look like anyone from the Sleigh store is selling this product. Let's go check out the FBM sellers. So I don't see anyone by this name, Sleigh Store, in the or Schleek. I'm not too sure how you pronounce that. As a seller, so I don't consider the manufacturer. This is a plastic toy. I'm not even going to look and check if it's hazmat, but if you do need to, there's a direct link on Revseller where you click on this and you can punch in the ASIN to see if it's hazmat. If there's an IP complaint, nothing popped up. I have IP alert. It pops up when there's an IP complaint. And then, so is the total profit worth it? So if we're buying 30 units a month, The profit's $261. I would say it's worth it. $261, 55% ROI. It's a pretty good product, and there's also a slight potential that you could actually even raise the price a bit and still get the sales. You could probably raise the price to around $39 and still get sales. So this one is staying. I'm going to highlight it with a green color just to know that. Oh, highlight it with just a green over here just to know that we're keeping it, and it's a go. Go on to the next one. So for this product, our price is $25.99 and our break even is $37.65. So okay, so what's going on here? So there are zero FBA sellers and zero FBM sellers. So there's no one selling it. It's completely out of stock at the moment. Okay. So we're going to have a better look at this product. It's unavailable. So because it's unavailable, the BSR shot up. Okay. And that's understandable. So what's the deal? We go down to the Keepa chart and we can see that when there is someone in the buy box, basically when there are people that have it in stock, the product sells. When it's completely in stock, it's selling. It's at around 30, 32,000, 27,000. So it's a good seller. No one has it at the moment. So that's why the BSR is completely shot up. So based on that information, we said that a decent price is around $50.11 and there's $10.59 worth of profit. Okay. So let's run this through our checklist. So there is profit, even though the BSR is non-existent at the moment, because no one has a buy box. The historic BSR works. So going through the checklist, there is profit. Yes. Amazon is not on the listing. So there's no sign of Amazon selling this product. It is a new listing, by the way. It's only 97 days old. Current BSR is not good, but it's not good because there are no sellers. No one has it in stock, so there's a reason why the current BSR is not good. The break even is $37.65. So if we put a line at $37.65, the price has always been above our break even. There's no time that the price has been below our break even. So $37.65 is okay. Next on the checklist is the historic price, which we just looked at that. The historic BSR, it shows that the historic BSR shows us that when the product's in stock, it does sell. And because Jungle Scout, when we look at Jungle Scout at the moment, it's actually giving us data based on its current BSR. If you wanted to, you could just go to Jungle Scout Estimator and you could punch in those details. So basically, you can punch in this average here, which I would say is around 35,000. We can punch in 35,000. In the Jungle Scout Estimator. I think it was toys. Yes, toys and games. And we'll see what it gives us. 630. So it's 630 units at the moment. If we have it in stock. So I'm going to actually go ahead and change this to 630. Okay. So we could potentially, there are no competitors. So we could potentially buy 630 units if we wanted to, but that's obviously way too many to buy. If it's your first time buying, you should keep it low as a test order. You should only buy 30, maximum probably 60 if it's your first time buying it. Let's punch these numbers in as well. So it costs us $25.99 and the buy box of $50.11. So $50.11 and $25.99. So $10.59 worth of profit. Okay, let's go back to our checklist. So competitive sellers, there are no sellers. Total sellers, there are no sellers. Variation, I don't believe it's a variation. No, it's not a variation. There's nothing over here. No clickable links to other products that are similar. Is the manufacturer a seller? Well, there's no indication of the manufacturer being a seller here. We can actually go and track the, look at the data on Keepa, and we can go to buy box statistics and see, offers, and see if the manufacturer was ever a seller. So looking at these names here, I don't see anyone with the name of Disney Pixar having sold it. So obviously it's a Disney product, so you do need to be ungated in Disney to be able to sell this product. So that's another thing that you need to really consider. Hazmat, it's not hazmat. It's a plastic toy or whatever it is made out of. IP complaints, yeah, Disney could potentially complain, but nothing popped up on IP alert. And is the total profit worth it? Well, if we were to sell 630 units, yeah, 6,671 units, $6,671 in a month is definitely worth it. Now, personally, I wouldn't buy more than 60 units of this. It's a 97-day-old product. It doesn't have much history, so it's only 97 days old. I wouldn't buy any more than 60 units of this. I'll test it out. I'll see how many units, when I'm in stock, see how many units actually sell out every day. And so if, for example, I see 10 selling a day when I'm in stock for a series of at least 4 or 5 days, 10 selling every single day, that means that I could potentially buy, if I want to, I would potentially buy that 10 times maybe 30 or 45. So I'd probably buy like 300 to 450 if I see that all 60 sell out later. If all 60 sell out and everything goes well, I'd probably buy whatever sells every day, times it by 30 or 45. So this is a good product. Let's go back to our checklist. So now, the profit's definitely enough. This is definitely a good product. Assuming we can source it, it's definitely a good product. I'm going to highlight it with green. I'm going to have the buy amount down to 60. So let's move on to the next one. Now, having a look at this next one, it's going to cost us $26 to source as a 2-pack, and it's $35.71 is the break even. So let's go and punch in $26, $12.35. There's 48% ROI. All right, let's go and run through our checklist. So correct product, yes. Current profit is $12.35. So yes, there is profit. Amazon. So let's go and check out Amazon. This last year, there has been no sign of Amazon at all. So let's go and to all, we're going back 2,113 days or whatever that is. No sign of Amazon. Let's go set that back to 1 year. Current BSR. So the current BSR is 71,000 in health and household. That's a very strong category. 71,000 is not bad. Now, break even, we calculated our break even to be, what was it, 35? Sorry, yeah, $35.71. Okay, so $35.71 is our break even. So looking at the last year worth of buy box data, we see the price has been as low as $15, hit $14, $15. So obviously from August and before, the product was not good at all. So let's look at this data here and see what's going on here. Since September and onward, the price has been quite high, $45, $50. It looks like there's no one, pretty much no one really in stock around here, or the few people that were in stock were really pricing it a lot higher than it was previously priced. So that's why no one was actually winning the buy box. But after all these months of this being the average price, the buy box settings kicked in and they allowed a very high buy box price. But they do seem to be FBM as well, some FBM sellers. So this is a bit of a strange one. So the price has obviously really spiked upwards over the last 5 months roughly. So I wouldn't go too heavy on this because you never know when these sellers might jump back on and lower the price back to this previous price. Because at this price, obviously this is a huge loser. This is like a $15 loss. So I would go very light on this product, and if it continues to do well, then I'll gradually increase the quantity I'll buy. The sales estimate is 210 units, but yeah, I would definitely not buy any more than 30 first time around. And if it goes well, I would be increasing that quantity I buy. So I wouldn't buy any more than 30, but let's continue looking at the checklist and see how we go. So we calculated the break even. We looked at the historic buy box price. Let's look at the historic BSR. So the BSR was not really much lower than it is now. So it is a fairly profitable product. It has high sales volume, this product. So you see BSR rank is around 40, 50,000 and pretty much the same around here. So it's a popular product, which is actually a good sign. It's just, it seems to sell well regardless of the price, which is a bit strange. Over here, this portion here, this is a massive up spike. It means that there were a lot of people out of stock in this period here, September, October area. Then it kind of came in stock, but the price was very high. But they continued purchasing it because people needed it. I still stay at that same conclusion. Don't buy too many because it is a bit of a risk. Competitive sellers, there are no competitive FBA sellers, only FBM sellers. So this could be this product could be hazmat. It's a sports gel, so it might be a hazmat product. So let's just have a quick look at that. So it is a hazmat product, okay? So that's one of the reasons why it's there aren't too many FBA sellers, and unless we actually list the product on Amazon, we can't really tell if we're able to actually send it into Amazon or not. Okay, so we're not looking at that right now. I'm gonna mark it as yellow because it's still a question mark. We have to actually create the listing first and then see if we can actually send it into Amazon or not. So I'm not gonna give it a 100% yes yet. Let's look at the remaining factors on it at the moment, and we'll see how we go. So it is a hazmat. Potential IP, there is no IP complaint popping through. Sports cream, I don't think that's really a name of a company, but it could be. I don't believe that there are any IP complaints. The profit, is the profit worth it? So if we were to buy 30 units, $370 worth of profit is plenty, so that's okay. All right, this is a question mark. So I'm just gonna write a comment, see if we can FBA it. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so it's $24.35, $22 worth of profit. That's a lot of profit, 94% ROI. Let's go and look at some of these details on the checklist. Okay, so is there profit? Definitely. Is Amazon a seller? They haven't been a seller in the last year. And historically, they were selling at early 2021. That was a lifetime ago. I wouldn't consider Amazon a competitor. The current BSR. So the current BSR at the moment is 66,276. The 180-day average is, the 90-day average is 61,000. So it's got a decent BSR in a good category. Obviously the BSR was so much lower Back when Amazon was selling it at $20 or $15 or $15 or $20, it was a lot lower. The price spiked up to $60 now, which is extremely expensive, and obviously the BSR spiked up along with the price. It still does sell, but it doesn't sell nowhere near as well as when Amazon was selling it. But Amazon hasn't sold it in almost 2 years, so I wouldn't worry too much about Amazon at this point. So the BSR is okay. The break even, our break even is $33.43. So let's draw a line at $33.43. So here's $40. So 33 is probably somewhere midway here. The buy box seems to be there's a nice cushion of safety between the break even and the buy box price. So I wouldn't be too worried about the break even, the buy box dropping below our break even. I think it's okay. Next on the checklist is the historic price, the historic BSR. So the BSR, we saw that it was very low when Amazon was selling it at $15, but it doesn't mean it's very bad now. It's still doable. Competitive sellers. So there's two people within the FBA within the buy box price at the moment. So there's two. So not too many competitive sellers. Let's go ahead and look at all the sellers on this product. So there's this person's FBA, and this person is probably within 3% of the buy box of 6088, the closest FBA seller. So it seems like there's two competitive sellers. Yeah, the price is very low. It's very profitable, this product, at the current price. Obviously, if Amazon was to sell it at that low price, it won't be profitable anymore, but they haven't been around for 2 years. So in terms of competition, it seems okay. Let's see if it's a variation. I don't think it was a variation. No, it's not a variation. Manufacturer, is the manufacturer a seller? So Theratier store. Let's go ahead and look at data, offers, and see if the manufacturer was ever selling it. If I don't think they're currently selling it, but let's see. Okay, there are many sellers, so let's just look at the current offers. So I'm just looking out for that name, and I cannot see them here. I don't see them here. The IP didn't pop up, and is the profit enough? It definitely looks like it was worth it. So on this product, you could probably go out and buy the quantity that's recommended, which is 56 units. I'm obviously a firm believer that you should always test a product first. You shouldn't buy more than 30 to 60. 60 is if it has a real killer BSR, but if it doesn't have such a good BSR, you should probably limit it to 30 or maybe less than 30 first time you're over purchasing. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep that at 30. And I'm going to mark this as green. This is another good product. So green. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this next one now, our price is $5.77. This one has some ridiculous ROI of 267%. We've got to have a look at that and see why that is the case. Is it reasonable? Is there something wrong with it? You know, like, are we looking at something that we don't know? So we're going to have to explore that a bit further. Okay, so let's run through our checklist. So correct product, yes. Current profit, ridiculously high. Amazon. Okay, let's look at Amazon. So Amazon has been on it occasionally. I wouldn't say that they're much of a threat at the moment because they haven't been on it since July and they were only on it for about a month. And then they were on it earlier this year, but it was for around 3 months. So historically they've been on it forever, but this year they've been on and off. Okay, so that's the first point. Historically, they've been on it forever. This year, they pretty much haven't had it in stock for a while, okay? So there is an opportunity in that, but we don't know how long that's going to last for. Okay, so let's go back to our checklist. So Amazon, yes, they are an issue, but we could still do something about that. The current BSR. At the moment, the BSR is fairly high. It's 106,000 in beauty and personal care. So it's not a very, very good seller, but it still does sell and would lead to some good profit. When Amazon was selling it at 12, 13 bucks, it was a killer seller. The BSR was very low, 11,000, 10,000. So it was quite low. Good seller. Obviously with a good price comes good sales. At the moment, our sales estimate is telling us that it would sell probably around 80 units a month. Okay, so let's go back and look at our checklist. So current BSR leads us to believe that it'll probably sell around 80 units a month, but at a very high profit. If we were to drop the price a bit, we'd probably get a lot more sales. Break even. So our break even, we calculated earlier, is $11.90. Okay, so $11.90 break even means that we can't really compete against Amazon without having about a $1 or $2 loss, unless we go small and light, but that means we won't have a profit either. So this is a good product, but again, I would definitely not go too heavy on this, regardless of Amazon coming on or not, but regardless of the actual sales estimate, because it's not as if we're going to be getting 120 units or 200 units of this a month. So I would limit a product like this having such high profit. I would, no matter if Amazon starts selling it, obviously I'll stop selling it, but in the future, the maximum you should be buying of this product anyway is probably around 30 units a month, regardless of if Amazon comes on, regardless of if they sell out, you won't be selling more than 30 or 40 units a month. That's probably the maximum you'll be able to sell a month. So you might as well buy, anywhere between 12 and 30 units and keep it at that. So I'm just going to type in 30 here, and I'm going to continue looking at the checklist. So we looked at the historic price. All right, well, let's look at the historic price and compare it to our break even. So our break even is, we said $11.90, and let's look at this portion here. So $11.90. Where there's a very good cushion of safety between our break even and the actual buy box. It's always been above it, even whenever it's dipped quite low. The only real threat is Amazon in this case, so I would consider it okay in that sense. Competitive sellers, there's only one seller at the moment, priced quite high as well. Total sellers, there are no other FBM sellers. One thing that we need to consider is the manufacturer seller, because there's only one seller. No, the manufacturer is not a seller, so we don't have to worry about the manufacturer. Is it a variation? No, it's not a variation. Is it hazmat? I'll quickly check off screen if it is hazmat. So is it hazmat? It is hazmat. So it is hazmat. So we got to consider that. It is a hazmat product, so there's going to be extra cost in sending the product into Amazon. Okay, so it is hazmat. All right, so we're going to mark it as yellow because we need to create the listing and actually see if Amazon's going to allow us to send it in, which they should because it's another FBA seller, but there are obviously going to be some extra costs associated with sending the product in. Okay, so we're at hazmat. Is it a variation? No, it wasn't a variation. There's no potential IP complaints. Now, is the profit enough? Considering we're buying 30 units, the profit is very, very high because it's only going to cost us $171, $173 to source, and it's going to give us that much profit. All right, next, this one here. Okay, so this is a variation. There's plenty of variations here, so we can actually look at and explore what we need to see when it comes to variations. Okay, so firstly, right off the bat, this product is $160. Our break even is $203.30. $203.30, and there's only $11 worth of profit. So the profit is very low. So I would not consider it based on the profit, but let's just have a look at the variation aspect to it and then consider some things. Okay, so the actual variation set, the whole thing gets 120 sales per month. But this ASIN in particular, we're going to look at the how many ratings or basically reviews this ASIN gets compared to the remaining variation set, and to try to figure out how many sales this lands in particular. So our ASIN ends with 81V. So let's look for 81V. 81V. So it's if we come across it here and look at the ratings, it's 2% of this whole variation set. So when it comes to over here, this 120, this here, we're going to also times it by 0.02, which is 2%. So it pretty much sells one unit a month for us. So it's definitely not worth it. It's only got 7% ROI. You're pretty much risking $160 or $161 to make $13. I'm not going to consider this product based on that, so we can just disqualify it right now, put it back to the ignore list. So that's gone. Okay, next. This is the same issue. It's got very low ROI. Let's have a quick look at it. Okay. So there's an IP complaint on this product. So you got to be careful if you're going to buy it. But just like going through the checklist, is there profit? Not really, because it's going to cost us $27.73 to source. So there's a lot of red flags on this product. Firstly, there's an IP complaint, so you can expect some company to complain to you. There's only $2 worth of profit, not worth it. There are heaps of sellers, so there's 3 people that are within buy box contention, three competitive sellers, and 26 total FBA sellers. So this is definitely a no-no, so I'm going to remove this from the list as well. I'm going to paste this down here. Let's go to the next one. So the next one's got 29% ROI. and it is part of a variation set. So we're going to have another look at that. I remember we have to actually select the variation set, because otherwise we don't get the price here. So I'm going to come here and select the extra small one, because that's the one we're looking at, and we should be getting a price come through here. Okay, so it's $38.50, and here's that data. Okay, so it costs us $20.73 to source. So it's $20.73. That's $5.97 to source it. Sorry, $5.97 worth of profit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly look at the variation, see how many sales this one actually gets, to see if the total profit is worth it. If the total profit's not worth it, we're gonna ignore it. So let's check out how many, what percentage of the sales this variation actually gets. So the ASIN ends with 8DN. So we're going to look for 8DN. 8DN, 11% of the sales. So 11% of the sales, I'm just going to come here, I'm going to say times 0.11%, or 0.11, which is 11%. So it gets 17 sales a month. Oh, no, that was the wrong one. Control Z. All right, so this one here. So times 0.11 right here. Okay, so this one has 8 sales, and it's 30% ROI, $50.30 is the profit based on that. I would not consider it based on the profit. It's a low profit, not really worth it. Nothing compared to the other ones that we were looking at earlier. So I'm deleting that one as well. Okay, let's check out this one here. We're pretty much getting towards the end of these. Okay, that's the product there. It's going to cost us $81.24 to source. All right, so a few things we're going to consider. We're looking at the price. Obviously, it's $115, but that's an FBM seller. So we could potentially, as an FBA seller, we could probably beat them. So it's $81 and I think 24 cents. $81.24. Okay, so $10.18 worth of profit. It's kind of low. I'm not too interested in it, but what I want to see now is if the current profit's good enough, as an if we could potentially sell it via FBA and beat off any FBM sellers, if we can actually do that. So I'm just gone down to the Keepa chart, which for some reason doesn't appear. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, this product doesn't look too good, but let's have a look at the current sellers and who the current FBA sellers are and what their price is. Okay, so there's a 13% ROI on this product based off the $115. So this is the person that's in the buy box currently at the moment, and they're at $115, and we're making $10. So that number isn't too encouraging for me, but if it was for some reason getting a ton of sales, it could be interesting, but it's not. There's only 17 sales per month based on the BSR, and I noticed that it is a part of a variation. So there's all this here, so it's a variation. So I'm going to come down here and click on variations and see what percentage of sales this product will potentially get. So it's the second one. No, it's the first one. So it gets 75% of the sales. So it gets a high percentage of the sales. So I'm going to come here on 17 over here. I'm going to write times 0.75. So potentially 12 sales a month, which will result in $125 worth of profit. I believe that's very low. And having a look earlier at the buy box chart, our break even is $103.78. I don't think, I think there's quite a few times where it's below our break even. So there's a lot of FBM sellers winning the buy box at, well below, or quite a bit below our break even. So yeah, I wouldn't be considering this one. I'll be ignoring this one, moving it off here. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, so there's a lot of variations on this one. There's heaps here. So we've got to look at this one. There are a lot of variations, but the BSR is real good. It's only 4,029. So let's have a closer look at this one. Okay, so our price to source it is $20.45. So we're going to type in here $20.45. Okay, so the profit's not very high. Okay, but it does have a killer BSR, so we've got to explore this a bit further. All right, so let's go through our checklist on this one, because this one does look, it looked like it could have some potential. But before we go through our checklist, let's go straight to the variations and check this one out. So let's go to variations, 3KK. 3KK, so we're looking for this particular listing. 3KK, there it is. 2%, but 2% of a big number. All right, so it's 2% of potentially 2,500 sales a month. So that times 0.02. Okay, so it's still not good. It's only 5 sales. Yeah, the potential profit is only, really $25, because there are at the moment there are 9 competitive sellers. So it's a lot of competitive sellers. So yeah, this one's it's not worth it. Only 25% ROI, very few sales per month. Yeah, it doesn't really look like a product worth buying. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So let's have a closer look at these. It's going to cost us $17.54 to source, and the price is $31.52. 17. Sorry, I forgot what it was. $17.54. $17.54, $3.25 worth of profit, 20% ROI. Not too high, to be honest, but if the sales are there, it could be worth it. No variations. All right, so let's look at this a bit deeper and see what we could do with this one. So let's go through our checklist. Current profit, yes. Amazon. Does Amazon sell it? Have they sold it in the recent past? No Amazon whatsoever. Current BSR. So the current BSR is 35,000 in grocery, which isn't bad. So 35,000 in grocery is a decent category. It translates to roughly 265 units per month. So the current BSR isn't bad. Our break even, we calculated earlier that the break even is $27.46. So let's look at the break even and look at that historically. So I'm just going to dive into this, the last, what's that, the last, actually we want to go to the last year roughly, the last 6 months actually. All right, so the last six months. So we said our break evens was roughly $27.50. It seemed like it's always above the break even, because we're looking at numbers here, 31, 30. So it seemed like it's above our break even, not too much above our break even, but just enough to be comfortable, because I don't see any spikes, downward spikes where it dips below the break even. It seems to be pretty much, $2-3 difference between our break even at all times, or maybe even $4. So that seems comfortable. So we just went over the historic price. Historic BSR, it seems consistent anywhere between 20 and 60,000. So the BSR is reasonably stable, not very low to justify a lot of sales, but it's okay. Now, competitive sellers and total sellers, let's have a look at that. So there's only one competitive seller at the moment, competitive FBA seller, and there's 3 FBM sellers. Historically, it hasn't gone too high. So we have the most it's ever gone is really like 12 sellers, and it's low at the moment. It's been low for the last month, but it's not a number to be scared about. Variations. Let's look at are there any variations? No, there are no variations. Is the manufacturer a seller? Enjoy Life Foods. Okay, let's see if they are an FBM seller. They're not an FBA seller. Enjoy Life Foods. SDA SOA Grocery. No. Who's this person? No, it's the same person. Okay, I don't see them being on the any manufacturer being the listing. Now, one thing that I that I didn't notice earlier is that the current FBA seller the current buy box is an FBM seller. So we could potentially, as an FBA seller, price it higher than them and probably win the buy box. Now, $31.28 is the current price. I think that you could probably even beat it at around $34.99. You could probably go around 10 to 15% above FBA sellers and pretty much win the buy box. So 31.52 times, let's say 15% above them. Probably, let's say, so 30, I think at this price you could probably beat them. So I would go ahead, let's just price it at $35.99 and base our projection off these numbers here. So $35.99. $7.25 worth of profit. So that's changed the numbers quite a bit. So we automatically have 20% ROI margin, 41% ROI. So it doesn't look too bad. Now, what else do we have on the checklist? We have manufacturer being a seller. No. Hazmat. No, but it is a meltable. So you could definitely have to consider that during the summer months. Now it's winter in the US, so there's no issue there. IP complaints, nothing popped up. And is the product worth it profit-wise? It definitely does seem like it's worth it. It's, $906 worth of profit on that. Obviously, it's the first time, we're buying this, so we shouldn't buy too many. The sales estimate does come to 133, considering our competition. Because 133 is quite a high number, I think that 60 will kind of be safe to buy. If you're comfortable paying $17.54, maybe keep it lower if your risk your risk tolerance is a bit low, so you can go 30, but I would probably go for 60 if I was buying this one, assuming that I'm 100% sure that it's the right product and that I can actually sell it. So I'll go ahead and highlight this as a green one. It's good to go. And now let's look at the last one. Do I have any comments? I said that there's an IP complaint. Okay, so this one has an IP complaint. Let's have a look at this one. Yep, the IP alert popped up here. All right, so we have a product that costs us $28. It has 20% ROI. So right off the bat, we know that it's only got 20% ROI. It's not too high, so that's not very encouraging. And it's got an IP complaint. And the BSR isn't too good. And there are a lot of sellers. We have 10 plus, so 8 competitive sellers at least at the moment. yeah, it's pulling up a lot of red flags. We don't even have to look at the checklist on this one. I believe that's not a good one. So I'm going to paste it in here, and we're not going to consider this. All right, so next what we can do, these are the products that are looking good. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to write this up. So I'm going to bring up the total on all this. So I'm just going to make this black, make it white, make it bold. Okay. So if we were to actually order this, what would the order look like? So we're going to come here and we're going to say, give me the sum of all these, hit enter there, and give me the sum of all these, and hit enter there. Okay, so this is what, if we're going to order these products, from a day of doing product research, this is what we would come up with. So ROI on this order would be equals this divided by that. And we've got to change that into a percentage. So 59.7%. Okay. So if I was good with this and looking to, looking at this to order these, I'd go ahead and create these listings in Seller Central. If everything's okay, if these products here, these hazmat products, I can actually send them in, and I have enough storage for hazmat goods, for dangerous goods, I would actually probably proceed with these orders. I'd reach out to the suppliers and say, hey, I want to buy these products. Go ahead and send them in and see how they go. If some of these have very high sales estimates, if they sell out well in the first month, I'll be looking to go higher next time around. I'd like, this one here, for example, the sales estimate was 630. Instead of buying 60 next month or the next order, I'd probably up that to about 120, maybe even 200 if everything goes well, if there's no issues. So yeah, that's the way I analyze products. Obviously, my lists are a bit more complicated than this. This is pretty much simplified, just so you can have an understanding of what you can do. You could add any variations. You could pretty much do whatever else you want with this list. You can you could make it as complicated as you want. You can instead of having the current sales rank, you can put the 90-day average sales rank. You can put average buy box prices, whatever helps you operate better and make more informed decisions. I recommend you do. So anyway, I hope this video helped you out. I hope you liked it. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to do it. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.